Okay, maybe some a little bit scared.
Yeah.
Good morning, madam. Maybe you may come a little bit closer if possible. Is there where you can pass through there a little bit and we do that interview so that we get closer to the mic? You can get closer to the mic? Okay, yes. Oh, no, it's okay, madam. It's okay. You can't stay there. The mic will be. Good morning.
Good morning.
Names?
Zahara.
Okay, what are your expectations of this trade show?
Too much sales.
How has been your experience when it wasn't happening for the last 2 years?
Oh, it was wonderful for last 2 years back. But this year, inshallah, let's wait and see.
All right, thank you so much for that. Okay, very interesting insight from the people right there that are exhibiting. Remember, we have local manufacturers, let me say, and also international, of course, exhibitors, and large scale and small scale at the same time. So let me get in touch with some gentleman here. Boss, how are you?
I'm fine, how are you, sir?
Okay, I'm good, sir. Okay, Sebo, amanya.
Nze Segawa Fred.
Segawa Fred. Mbulira guno okwolesa kuno kutegeeza ki eri business yo?
Kwolesa kuno eno kunyambako okwagazisa abantu omulimu gwange gwenkola ng'omutunzi wa galubendi n'amasaawa. Nina okufunamu ku ssente era bajja ne bagula ne bazaagala.
Kati ki ky'osuubira?
Nsuubira era nsuubira munnange abantu okujja otuwagirako, ab'amasomero okujja, abaana balabe bizinesi ez'enjawulo neyo munda yonna. Tufune ku gundi kumanya okwenjawulo okusinziira ku ebyo omanyi, oyongerako buli ojja mu mwoleso munene. Naffe bennyini abantu abakulu bw'ojja n'ogenda n'okoppa n'oweebuuza n'omanya ky'ozzaako.
Gino emyaka ebiri ng'omwoleso guno teguliiwo, bizinesi ebadde etambula etya? Kuva covid gubadde tegutambula olwa covid n'olwaleero gukomyewo, bizinesi zibadde zitambula zitya?
Nga tetuli mu mwoleso. Tuli mu mwoleso era tulina embeera zaffe ze tubadde tukoleramu ez'enjawulo. Era bizinesi kati nga bumanyi ekonomi, abantu tebalina ssente. Naye ng'era awo yiyayiya mpola naye ng'okutwaliza wamu bizinesi tezitambula bulungi.
Maybe ekisembayo ng'ovudde ku mwoleso ki ekira ky'okubiriza gavumenti okukola okulaba nga mudda mu bizinesi nga mudda mufuna amagoba ge mwali mufuna?
Kakati nga njogereko ku ky'omwoleso guno eno, kubanga saawa eno buli ali mu mwoleso saawa eno tanaba musanyufu olw'ensonga nti tannalaba kukyamuka kw'abantu kuyingira olw'ebbeeyi gye batadde ku mwoleso mu kuyingira ali ku mulyango. Kiyinza obutatutambulira bulungi nga myaka giri mu kuteebereza okwaffe, kuba kati leero olunaku lwakusatu, embeera zandibaddewo olwokusatu nga mu myoleso giri egibaddewo si ze ziriwo. Kati tulaba saawa eno emiwendo gya kositisi ze batadde ku mulyango nnyingi. N'ekirala kati gavumenti erina okufuba nnyo okulaba ng'eddiriza ku bintu, kuba abantu bali bubi. Kati ebintu ebisinga bya bbeeyi, buli kimu kya bbeeyi. Efune engeri yonna gyenyigamu mu ngeri yonna, abantu bali bubi. Yes.
Nyanziza endowooza eyo. All right, we are still getting opinions from the people. Of course, some already making sales here, as I can see. Let me get an opinion. Sebo jebaleko.
Yes, jebaleko.
Amanye.
Mirembe Richard.
Richard. Omwoleso guno gutegeeza ki eri business yo?
Omwoleso guno gutuyambako okulaga abantu bye tukola n'okwagaza abavubuka bannaffe abatalina mirimu basobola tutandika n'ekintu ekitono n'oweeyongerako n'okulaakulana ng'omuvubuka.
Ki ky'osuubira oluvannyuma nga guwedde?
Nsuubira kulaga abantu ebyenkola, emirimu gyange n'abavubuka bannange, kubalaga nti ne bw'oba olina katono osobola tutandika kukola.
Kale Mukama wange neeyanziza nnyo endowooza eyo. All right, we are still getting in touch.
All right, and there you have it from Barija Andrew, who has been in Lugogo, but due to some technicalities in the network here and there, we've failed to get in touch with him. But surely tomorrow we shall be giving you more of the updates of what is happening on there, on ground, and to see how the business community is moving on and how they're trying to cope up with the exhibition. Well, and the expo does continue, like I did mention, till the 9th of October. bringing in quite a number of exhibitors, not only from Uganda, from East Africa, and the African continent. So you will definitely expect quite a number of nationals at the Expo as it is ongoing. Well, it gives an opportunity for the small and medium-sized enterprises, just like we've been having in our topic of discussion today, and pretty much the fact that most of them are trying to recover. Some had collapsed, others are in the recovery mode. So it is time, when you look at them clearly, to see how they will be recovering. And they want to tap into those spaces that are available by at least trying to get clients, customers, and showcasing what they have. In most cases, these expos, by the way, these exhibitions are always put in place for you to showcase a pinch of what you produce. Sometimes you have to bring in what you have at the main factory or at the main industry, so that people get to know that you are the main producer of this particular one. And that is exactly what normally happens on the expos world over. So if you are a person who is dealing in any kind of business and you've missed out on this particular exhibition, better next time try to at least book a stall in there and see how you can interact with various people. A full week of people getting in there to see what you're doing is something that can attract lots of profits for your business. And if at all you want your businesses to grow, these are some of the marketing strategies that you need to look at strongly, because ours here is to drive the business and give you all this information as it is coming through. So if you're to look through, you get to realize that quite a number of traders are already on ground at the UMA show to at least showcase what they have and showcase their goods and commodities, as well as the various services. So our team is already in there, and if at all you're a person who wants to say hello to the people and you have a stall you want to share with us, any business idea, the Smart 24 TV team is already on ground, and we are always available in places dealing with business. And of course, that brings us to the end of Smart Means Business today, Wednesday, 5th October. But just a quick reminder, investing in securities has been made easier and possible with the Zabu platform, courtesy of the Altex East Africa. You can use the USSD code of MTN Uganda *292# and you can invest in any bond depending on what you wish to use your money for. Zabu says my money, my future. And of course, markets do open at 8:15 a.m. and close at 3:15 p.m. East African Standard Time. Registration, you have to use your NIN in order to get an account. Well, meanwhile, you can invest at a minimum of 15,000 Ugandan shillings and you're ready to go with the MTN Zabu. That is as simple as that. Okay. And of course, just a reminder as well, please do add us up on our social media platforms, LinkedIn and Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We are Smart24 TV. I'm John Paul Sonko on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and I'm your host for your daily Kickstarter here, the Smart Means Business. Have a blessed day till tomorrow, same time. Good morning.
Smart 24, driving business.
shashurira esimu y'ekiroto cyawe mpora mpora yitungire esimu y'ekiroto cyawe erizoba aha sente nje okutandikira aha 14 na data y'omwaka gwona yabusha rero ushashure mpora mpora noshashurira omwaka gumwe nizishangwa MTN Service Centers no maduka ga M-Kopa.
Music is fuel that fires up our souls. Today, African music has a dominant place on the world map. This massive music movement creating waves across the globe.
I have seen the evolution and the growth of this industry.
But every movement starts with a story. And the best place to start any story is at the very beginning.
There's a primordial energy that can only have come from Africa.
World Cup in the desert, the first one in the Middle East, the first to be held at the end of the year. That's crazy. Get ready for spectacular moves, high-flying saves, unbelievable goals. Out of this world celebration.
Would you believe it? What a moment here!
All 64 matches live. That's over 5,000 action-packed minutes of the FIFA 2022 World Cup Qatar. Now that's crazy. Catch all the action only on SuperSport, your world of champions. On Gold TV. Love it.
From a respectable family. He must have a maid because at our home we do not work.
Conductor Masao.
Why? Kubadolo kusimu.
Yamunang, anti your TV enkolera.
Enjoy a new world of entertainment with over 80 TV and radio channels, plus movies from wherever you are. Download the Yo TV Channels app from your app store and enjoy 30 days of free streaming with MTN.
Yo TV Channels.
Are you looking for a way to improve your lifestyle through health-enabling activities? Come down to Ndere Cultural Center on the 8th of October for an exciting fitness experience inspired by our very own rich traditional music, identity, style, and uniqueness. Tickets are available at 100,000 shillings only. Contact us on 0773 949809 or 0753 461 598. Get empowered and become more aware of how a healthy diet, regular exercise, and stress reduction techniques can increase your personal wellness. Sponsored by
Smart 24, driving business. Smart 24, driving business.
It was the year before the Black Monday crash. Wall Street darling Larry Fink suffered a $100 million trading loss.
I was so angry at myself. I was just mortified at myself.
Humiliated, Fink now is forced to leave the company. But upon his failure, he will build the mightiest company in the world, BlackRock.
Another too big to fail asset manager which handles over $7 trillion in direct management and another $20 trillion through their proprietary software.
I mean, Larry Fink, with those numbers, he can say whatever he wants. BlackRock was fantastic.
California is on the rise to become the most populated state in America. Like the rest of the country, the 60s was a turbulent time for California, a decade of a drastic political change.
It was such an exciting, heady time to find out that under the official reality, there was this seething turmoil of young people learning new music, new thoughts, new ideas, new literature, new poetry, new ways of being.
Larry Fink is one of those young people. He enrolls in UCLA to pursue a political science degree, hoping one day to make an impact as a politician. After getting an MBA degree from UCLA, Fink takes a job at a leading investment bank, First Boston, as a bond trader. It was a perfect time to get into the bond business. In the early 70s, bonds only began to be actively traded. Larry Fink excels at this job. He rapidly rises through the ranks, becoming the youngest manager at his department.
I started First Boston in 1976. I was the first Freddie Mac bond trader, and so the mortgage market was just of its infancy. And then in 1982, we had the ability to put a PC on our trading desk. Before that, you had no ability to put a computer on a trading desk. And it was very clear to me that if we could have computing power on the trading desk, we were going to have the ability to dissect cash flows of mortgages. And we were the most profitable component of First Boston in 83 and 84 and 85.
By 1983, the American economy had rebounded from a decade-long recession.
The highest order of business before the nation is to restore our economic prosperity.
After taking over the presidency, Reagan worked to boost the economy. He starts cutting taxes and deregulating Wall Street, creating a perfect environment for financial innovations. One of such is the mortgage-backed securities. Simply put, they bundle millions of mortgages and turn them into securities that can be traded by any investor. Larry Fink was one of the architects behind this financial innovation, which 20 years later morphed into an economic bomb. But in the meantime, Larry sells these newly minted securities to large investors like pension funds and endowments, generating tens of millions of fees for First Boston. At the time, First Boston was at the top of the investment banking industry, specializing in mergers and acquisitions. After creating $1 billion profit for the firm, Larry Fink becomes the most profitable man at First Boston.
When you're at that level, and you've had all of that success, and you have all of this money, there's a mindset that you're almost invincible.
But then he loses $100 million in just one quarter of 1986.
So you could work a lifetime creating wealth under certain assumptions that something can't happen, and then bang, you lost everything for your whole lifetime because you thought it couldn't happen.
That is a year before the infamous Black Monday crash, and the market was still in a euphoric state because everyone was making money.
Unless you're hedged for events like Black Monday, whatever alpha you think you're going to get, you're not going to get it.
When you started having those types of successes, the firm gave you more capital. We were taking bigger and bigger risks without the attended risk technology to navigate that risk. And in the second quarter of 1986, we lost $100 million.
On Wall Street, one big loser can erase all your winners. The same is true for reputation. Although he wasn't fired, but he was sidelined. All of a sudden, people don't want to be seen with him anymore. He becomes the untouchable. The message is clear. It is time to quit. The trouble is, with tarnished reputation, no investment bank will want to hire him. At age 36, Larry Fink is unemployed.
I said to myself 30 days after we lost money in that quarter, even though we made 130 the first quarter and lost 100 of it in the second quarter, I said I'm leaving. But it took me a year and a half. Because I never ever thought I was going to leave, but it took me a year and a half to try to determine what I wanted to do next.
Always a competitive man, Fink refuses to surrender and is determined to regain his past glory by any means necessary. This time, he will start his own business. And to do that, he will need investors. But with his reputation, it is nearly impossible to raise money until he meets the legendary Steve Schwarzman. Steve Schwarzman, the founder of Blackstone, is one of the most powerful figures on Wall Street. In his 30 years reign, he turned Blackstone into the biggest private equity company in the world. But by 1988, Blackstone was still a lesser-known consulting firm. And like Fink, Steve Schwarzman was a castaway. He was a rising star in Lehman Brothers on his way to become the CEO. But due to a nasty power struggle, he was forced to leave the company.
I saw a lot of behavior that I didn't like, and so decided to go out and do something with my partner who'd been thrown out the year before by the management that went in and ultimately blew up the company.
In 1988, Blackstone just started as a private equity business and barely completed its first deal. But Steve Schwarzman is already thinking big by expanding the company to more areas. And he's considering a wealth management business. One of the reasons why Schwarzman was so successful is that he has an eye for talent. He knows how to hire the best people.
We wanted to attract somebody to run it who was a 10 on a scale of 10. Because you'll find in your careers, if you're a 10, God bless you, you'll be wildly successful. If you attract 10s, they always make it rain if you need rain. And they just have an ability to sense problems, design solutions, do new things, and that's what a 10 does.
And Larry Fink is a 10. After meeting Fink, Schwarzman decided to start a joint venture called Blackstone Financial Management by investing $5 million with Fink.
It took me a year and a half to assemble my thoughts, and I told the story to Steve Schwarzman and Pete Peterson, and they loved it, and they had more confidence in me than I had myself. They wanted to go right ahead, and we did that, and it all, we actually started making money within 2 weeks.
When we talk about an investment company and a fund, it's easy to get confused. In this case, Steve Schwarzman gave $5 million to start a management company, but then they have to raise money for their fund. Within 5 years, Fink built his fund to have $8 billion under management. Fink has learned a lesson that one should always be risk conscious. One of his investment principles is that he will not put down a dime until the risk can be understood and calculated.
There were so many other companies that really didn't understand the risk, and most importantly, the buy side, the investors had no idea the risk they were taking. And there was a great need for a company that starts off with a high concentration in risk analytics, and principally in the fixed income area. There was a lot of analytics in equities back then, but nothing in bonds.
He was one of the first in the industry to rely heavily on statistics and algorithms to make investment decisions. Fink is now back on the top. He recognizes that in order to grow bigger, his company needs to offer more stock options to attract talented people. He demands Schwarzman to give up some of Blackstone's ownership. To his great disappointment, Steve Schwarzman rejected his plan. Both Steve Schwarzman and Larry Fink are highly competitive Type A people. But Steve Schwarzman is an investment banker, while Fink is more of a trader.
Steve Schwarzman, he's unusually conservative, actually unusually risk-averse for a successful entrepreneur and investor. This was a visceral thing, like a primal impulse not to lose money.
Two alphas are always doomed to clash from the get-go. After being rejected by Steve Schwarzman for his proposal, Fink is determined to completely sever ties with the firm by finding a buyer to purchase Blackstone's ownership. As Schwarzman is going through a divorce in his personal life, the news that Fink wants to leave Blackstone sent him into a frenzy.
Ego is a great thing in business. An ego. You show me a titan of industry, and I'll show you somebody with a big ego.
But on Wall Street, everything has a price, including ego.
Is now even better because the rate on a PNC Bank home equity line of credit just took a tumble.
PNC Bank stands for Pittsburgh National Corporation, a finance group with a long history and lineage. In 1991, PNC was on a buying spree, acquiring dozens of smaller firms. It is a perfect buyer for Fink to get rid of Blackstone's control. They offer hundreds of millions of dollars to buy out Blackstone's stake. Think about this. Steve Schwarzman and Fink started this business with just about $5 million. That is a huge return in just 5 years. Although Steve Schwarzman is still hesitant, the money is just too good to ignore. He agrees to sell the asset management business to PNC. This is the biggest mistake in Schwarzman's career. At the time, even he couldn't foresee that this side business of Blackstone would someday become a financial giant that dwarfs even Blackstone itself. 1994 was a fateful year for BlackRock. After separating from Blackstone, the company was still small. By Wall Street standards, $8 billion of fixed income portfolio is not considered to be big, because bonds tend to make less returns and a little bit less risky. Now free to build BlackRock any way he likes, Fink is holding nothing back. But to win, he must find an edge that others don't have. And it will come from an unexpected place.
Remember our old kitchen?
Yeah. Smile. GE, we bring good things to life.
Under the leadership of Jack Welch, GE started an explosive growth. Fueled by easy money in the mid-80s, General Electric ventured into new industries, including news and finance. The company bought Kidder Peabody, a once respected investment bank, but was later found guilty of insider trading and accounting fraud. Once Welch realizes how deeply in trouble his new firm is,